Good evening, and welcome to the Granville County Expo Center for the Granville County Board of Commissioners Monday, March 18th, 2024 regular meeting. I call this meeting to order. And we will first have our invocation and our pledge by Commissioner Zelotes J.
Would you pray with me, please? Once more again, our Heavenly Father, we come with thankful heart. Thank you, Father, for allowing us to see this beautiful day and be a part of this day. Lord, we just thank you for the citizens here in Granville County. Bless, continue to hope, build a fence around us and protect us and guide us, Lord. Lord, bless us as we go through this meeting. Bless each commissioner on this board and their family, Lord. Bless the staff, Lord. Bless all that had taken a part in our business here, of the business of the county, Lord. Lord, let's bless us as we go through this meeting. Give us strength, give us wisdom, give us understanding that everything that we do be pleasing in your sight. The blessing we ask in thy name. Amen. Would you stand, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, thank you, Commissioner J. All right, board, you've got the consent agenda before you. Any questions or concerns? We move forward. What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
We've got a motion by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner J. Is there any discussion on the motion? I have one point that I'd like to draw out of the consent agenda, just to say that we've got the LinkedIn Learning Online Training Subscription renewal. But this is for every citizen who has a library card, has access through the county to free, already paid for LinkedIn learning services. So this is to try and better our staff and our citizens through professional development. So if you've ever taken a LinkedIn learning course online, you have free access with your library card, which is a citizen of Granville County have free access to. So just wanted to pull that out as a PSA. So we've got a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign? Motion carries. Next, we've got introductions, recognitions, and presentations. And we've got Commissioner Cozart's going to be giving our Fair Housing Month proclamation. Commissioner Cozart, I apologize. I was supposed to call someone forward. We've got someone here this evening that's going to be receiving their proclamation, and here she comes.
That's the one you were supposed to call?
It is. My error. The clerk had alerted me to that, and I apologize.
I'm happy to share a proclamation recognizing fair housing. Whereas Fair Housing Act, enacted April 11, 1968, enshrines into federal law the goal of eliminating racial segregation and ending housing discrimination in the United States. And whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, something I'd like to give you. When I just read this proclamation, with our thanks to you for promoting the same as we read in the proclamation. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers, for attending this evening. And next, if I could call Laura Santos Gable to the stage. Sorry. When you kick it around the halls for as long as we have, we tend to be a little familiar, and I appreciate you coming forward this evening to adopt the proclamation for recognizing Small Farms Week. I'm right with you. I am going to be reading this proclamation this evening on behalf of the Board of Commissioners for Small Farms Week. And as a liaison to the Cooperative Extension here in Grand County, and as a hobby farmer slash small farmer, I have my pecan and pearl tie on tonight, two of my baby goat kids of my flock of 5. But I appreciate you being here tonight. And for those of you who don't know, Laura, her husband, Sandy, was very instrumental in bringing the voluntary agricultural district here to Granville County. It's very important that we have legal protections for our farmers, small, medium-sized farms here in Granville County. So this is, again, proclamation recognizing Small Farms Week here in Granville County. Whereas small farms are integral to Granville County's agricultural heritage, embodying resilience and tradition, and Granville County farms contribute to the diverse agricultural landscape, producing crops such as fruits, vegetables, field crops, and livestock. And whereas Granville County cherishes its agricultural roots, celebrating the innovation and resilience of its small farmers who continuously seek new paths of profitability and sustainability, and recognize their vital role in driving economic growth, promoting food security, and fostering community resilience. And whereas it is important to honor the dedication, hard work, and contributions of small farmers in Granville County who enrich our local food systems and cultural heritage. And whereas the Cooperative Extension at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, in partnership with the North Carolina State University, the United States Department of Agriculture, and the North Carolina Department of Agricultural and Consumer Services, have played a pivotal role in providing support and resources to small farmers. And whereas the Granville County Cooperative Extension has provided invaluable support to small farmers, recognizing its contributions to our community. Now therefore be it resolved, the Granville County Board of Commissioners proclaims March 24th to 30th, 2024 as Small Farms Week, urging all residents to celebrate this diverse, innovative, and resilience of our small farm communities, and to support local farmers in their pursuit of profitable and sustainability. On this 18th day of March 2024, undersigned by myself, Tim Karen, Chairman, Granville County Board of Commissioners. Thank you, Laura, for coming in to receive this proclamation. Next, we will have an update on our 2024 revaluation, and I will call Ms. Jenny Short to the podium, please.
Good evening, Chair Karen, members of the board. I have today with me Emmett Curl. Thank you. He is with Pearson's Appraisal Service. I'm here today to provide an update on the 2024 property tax reevaluation process for Granville County. The state of North Carolina requires regular reevaluation of property at a minimum of every 8 years. Granville County's last reevaluation was in 2018, making it 6 years since we last completed this process. Granville County's real estate market since 2018 is perhaps the strongest it has ever been. Though the market has begun to stabilize, it remains quite strong. The purpose of a reevaluation is to ensure that the tax values of properties align with their true market value. The old 2018 values were no longer reflective of the true market value, but the updated values are now much more closely aligned. The last 6 years have seen a significant raise in property sale prices in Granville County, which means that property values have increased significantly too. The typical property owner saw about a 70% increase in their property's assessed value. A revenue-neutral tax rate is a tax rate that would generate the same amount of revenue as the previous years while allowing for normal growth. This tax rate will be determined and published by mid-May of 2024. The Board of Commissioners can adopt the revenue-neutral tax rate, but are not required to do so. The actual tax rate will be adopted in June of 2024 as part of the fiscal 2024-2025 budget year. There are 33,882 parcels in Granville County. The overall increase in assessed value for the 33,882 parcels is about 80%. But as I stated earlier, the typical property owner saw a 70% value increase. In 2018, the total assessed value of real property, that's land and buildings in Granville County, was $4,147,775,491. The 2024 assessed value is $7,564,757. The 2024 figure may change following final calculations of deferral and excluded properties. This chart shows the total taxable values in 2023 compared to 2024. This includes real property, land and buildings, personal property, boats, trailers, aircraft, mobile homes, state assessments, which are public utilities that are assessed by the state, and registered motor vehicles. Property owners received their new assessment notices beginning in February by the U.S. Postal Service. Each notice included information on how to appeal as well as the deadlines. we did extend the deadline for informal appeals until April 29th. We now have the Comper tool. Granville County purchased an interactive map-based tool to show comparable sales called Comper. Comper gives citizens access to the same data used by assessors during the reevaluation process. Findings can be downloaded, printed, and used during the appeal process. Visit granvillecounty.org/revalve to access the Comper tool. Anyone with questions is also encouraged to call us in the tax office at 919-693-4181 or email revalve.2024@granvillecounty.org. Appeals or reconsiderations of assessed value have 3 steps. Step 1, file a request to reconsider with the Tax Administration Office. This is referred to as an informal appeal or an assessor's appeal and can correct errors in property data, allowing the property owner to provide additional information that the assessor did not have access to. Most properties are only viewed from the road or from satellite views, so assessors are typically making an educated guess. We cannot see what's inside of these properties, so we feel it would be best if you have pictures to provide. The assessor's appeal is not required, but the final deadline is Monday, April 29th, 2024. Step 2, formal appeal with the Board of Equalization and Review, which in Granville County is comprised of members of the Board of Commissioners. The first meeting of the Board of Equalization and Review will be held on the evening of April 29th, and the final meeting will be held Monday, June the 3rd. All hearings will be held at the Granville County Expo Center. Property owners must file an application to appeal in advance, and they will be notified of their appeal date and time. Decisions will be mailed to the property owners by U.S. Postal Service. Step 3, appeal to the North Carolina Property Tax Commission. Appeals to the Property Tax Commission can only occur after a hearing with the Board of Equalization and Review, which is comprised of 5 members, 3 appointed by the governor and 2 appointed by the General Assembly. All hearings occur in Raleigh. Appeals must be filed within 30 days of the date of the mailed decision letter from the Granville County Board of Equalization and Review. Property tax relief. The state of North Carolina offers 3 property tax relief options, which are available to Granville County citizens. Elderly or disabled. You have to be 65 years or older or permanently disabled, and income must be less than $36,700 for the previous year. This program has certain income requirements, excludes the first $25,000 or 50% off the appraised value from taxing, whichever is greater. Disabled veterans, 100% total service-connected disability. This excludes up to $45,000 of the appraised value of the permanent residence from taxing. They also have the circuit breaker deferment. You must be 65 years or older or permanently disabled, and income must be less than $55,050 for the previous year. The program has 2 qualifying brackets. Income in the previous tax year is below $36,700. The owner's taxes will be limited to 4% of the owner's income. Income that exceeds $36,700 but less than the $55,050, the owner's taxes will be limited to 5% of the owner's income. Once again, we encourage anyone with questions about this information to contact the Tax Administration Office at 919-693-4181, or you can email revalve.2024@granvillecounty.org. I will now be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Commissioner Jay, you have a question?
The elder discount, that starts January 1?
You have to be 65 as of January 1 of 2024. So you have to apply by June 1st.
By June 1st?
Yes, by June 1st, and it will take effect on your July bill.
Okay.
Would you tell the audience where they can pick up the applications to apply for that, please?
Yes, they can be picked up at the tax office, or you can go online to ncdor.gov. They also have the applications there as well. And we've been mailing them out to people that call and request it.
Commissioner May, did you have a question? Did you have a question, Commissioner May? Okay, I saw you nod your head. Any other questions for Ms. Griffin?
I don't have a question, but I do have a thank you. I understand you're being bombarded, and likely so, with everybody worried about their taxes possibly being raised. But I have heard nothing but absolutely praises for you and your staff for how you're handling these people that are very concerned about their new tax bill. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for you and your staff just taking these people's concerns to your heart and letting them know that they will be okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Wilford?
I'd like to echo Commissioner Hinman's thoughts. And also, I'd like for the audience to make sure that if you know seniors that are not aware of these programs, whether it be the senior center, you have relatives, close neighbors, let them know so that they're able. A lot of the seniors are not able, they don't understand. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. So let them know and call the office. They'll mail them or take it to them or have somebody take them downtown and they'll pick it up. But if you know a senior that could fall in these categories, please let them know.
And, yeah, one question on the motor vehicle tax. Is that figured at the county level or figured at the state level?
Oh, the assessment, it does come, the state does assess that. It's going through a program called Tech Data Services, and it automatically puts a value on. So on your notice, it will say on there, you have, I think it's 30 days to appeal. So they have to contact us and we'll go in there, look at it and, see if the value was overstated so we can make the corrections.
Okay.
But it's a computer thing that does it.
Thank you. And one other thing, the programs we talked about for the elderly and the disabled and the veterans, that is set by the state. The county does not have the power to regulate that.
We just facilitate it.
Any changes to that program would have to come through the state legislature.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner May?
Ms. Griffin, are the veterans coming over you or being sent, is AJ sending the veterans over to you that need assistance?
Yes,
So our
he
veterans
is.
are getting assistance as needed? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so some of the tax staff, as well as Ms. Short, our tax administrator, and our appraiser will be available in the side room upstairs outside following the public comment section of our meeting this evening. If you are in the audience tonight, you have an opportunity to talk to tax staff if you'd like. So they'll be over there for a little while until the duration of our meeting. So if you want to slide out, we've got public comment next. There are two people who signed up, but they annotated that they were here to speak about a Wilton issue. So I'm assuming that means the zoning. Yes? Okay, we got two people shaking their head yes. So seeing no people who have signed up for public comment, we'll take a brief moment, a 5-minute recess, so to speak, to allow for Ms. Short and our tax assessor to adjourn to the side room, and they will take any questions or comments from folks that want to go over there. And please, when you're done with them, come back into our regular meeting. If you feel you want to stay here and listen to what's going on in the land use zoning, please do, and then they'll still be here. So you've got an option tonight. So we'll take a quick break, 5 minutes, and those who want to go next door into the other room, you're welcome to do so, and the rest of us will just hang here. Thank you. And
It encompasses 12.25 acres. Those are the properties to the north of the blue, which are the properties proposed for rezoning, is NC 56, and to the southwest of the blue is NC 96. This is a map in our future land use, map in our comprehensive plan. It is a map that encourages different land use types. It is not the zoning map, but it is a guide. And the orange shown is recommended to be rural business. And then the pink, residential, as well as the blue. This is the copy of the current zoning map. The blue is highway business zone properties. The pink is neighborhood business. And the orange is AR 40. Again, these lots either have both frontages on NC 56 or 96 or 1. They are again currently zoned AR 40, and the proposed rezoning would be neighborhood business. That is a picture on 56, looking at the property. That's also another two pictures of the property on 56. Excuse me. This is a property looking back at the Wilton crossroads of 96 and 56. On the left-hand side is the property proposed for rezoning on 56. As part of the process, the planning board did hold a public hearing on February 15th, and they did unanimously recommend approval of the rezoning. They have, in your information, you will have their written consistency statement and reasonableness statement, as well as their spot zoning analysis. In their in both of those analyses, they found that the comprehensive plan encourages increasing opportunities for commercial development, encourages commercial and mixed-use development in key areas, and seeks to limit retail leakage to other counties. And what retail leakage is that you may live in Granville, but you may work in an adjacent property, or you may travel. And the benefit of capturing sales tax in Granville is you don't lose it to other counties. Sales tax is collected. If you buy your groceries in Wake County, the sales tax benefit goes to Wake County. And so the comprehensive plan seeks to limit that retail leakage to other counties. Again, the planning board found the rezoning to be consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan and is reasonable, and the location is along two major highways. They likewise found that this rezoning would not constitute spot zoning if it were approved. And the neighborhood business, we have two types of general use commercial zoning types, neighborhood business and highway business. Neighborhood business is the strictest commercial zoning district. It is more strict than highway business, primarily because it significantly reduces or limits outside storage of goods outside the building at commercial properties. What you have up on the screen that you can see are the land uses that are allowed in neighborhood business. You have, in zoning, you have permitted uses. You have permitted uses with specific conditions to that land use that a land use has to comply with. Then you have special use, a minor special use permit for some particular land uses. Those are something that are decided by the Board of Adjustment after public notice and a quasi-judicial hearing. Then you have something called a major special use, which the county commissioners hear, also in a quasi-judicial hearing after public notice. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Board, the floor is now open for anyone wishing to speak. We'll have you please come forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record. And Ms. Anna Elliott, we've got you first signed up, so if you'll come forward, please. Appreciate you being here with us this evening.
Thanks for having me. My name is Anna Elliott. I live at 2486 Patton Lane, Franklinton, which is Copper Creek subdivision right across from the land that is going to be developed. First, I want to say I'm not against this land being developed. I know Mr. Hayes through my place of employment in Franklinton. I know he does beautiful stuff. He would never put his name on anything that is, bad. I'm actually kind of excited about some possibilities that could be. I guess the last meeting, the zoning committee, my fears were kind of relaxed a little bit as far as water concerns. The other concern some of my neighbors had was about traffic. I guess that's my major concern with this. We are right near the intersection, and if people are coming south on 96, as one of my neighbors said, if they're getting that light at a yellow light, they might come through at 60, 65 miles an hour. My concern is if there's entrances to businesses right there and entrance and exits from our neighborhood. I have two teenage drivers. That is a major concern for me. I think growth is a beautiful thing. Growth is carefully planned growth is great. I think our community needs it. My fear is, as people continue to move to Granville County, as she, said earlier, our housing market is hot. Developments are being built. I don't want to be like Highway 42 in Johnston County, a 2-lane road, people coming in and out, accidents all the time, jam-packed with, neighborhoods and businesses. I guess my concern is to you guys. I live in Copper Creek. We do not have state-maintained roads. This is a long issue that many of you are aware of for 20 years. We feel very left out by the county from years ago. We feel just kind of like jobs weren't done. We have no state-maintained roads. Our developer just kind of dissed us. So here we are sitting here with no state-maintained roads. There's talk of development, and I guess I want to implore you guys, whatever is within your power to do with the DOT, if you could please carefully watch over them, make sure that you're being a voice for us as far as safety for drivers, for people going through there. Just make sure that area, I don't want to be Johnston County. I just don't. And whatever needs to be done to make that area a safer place as growth happens, I just implore you to please just be on top of them. Do whatever is in your power to keep, our communities safe. And also, I'm not sure where this would fall, if it falls with the Sheriff's Department or whatever, but like I said in the last meeting, not sure if you spent much time at the Citgo or the Dollar General. They have been robbed, things are stolen. It's a disgusting place. It's kind of an embarrassment to our community, honestly, that people can't take care of things. But I know that's really probably not something you can take care of, but that isn't also a concern. Property values, things that are built that just are junky. But those are my concerns. And I just implore you, like I said, just to please, as things are developed, please stay on top of the DOT and make sure that we are being looked after and our safety is a top priority, especially with teen drivers. The schools are almost half the schools in the county, it seems like, are on route on 56. So that's just what I ask of you. I thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming out this evening. Next, we'll have Mr. Stephen Hayes. If you'll come forward, sir, and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephen Hayes. I live at 28 Hayes Court in Franklinton, and I reside just a few miles from this Wilton area. I've been doing a lot of building in Granville County for many, many years. Grew up in the Pocomoke area. Some of you are familiar with that area. And my intent for Gatekeeper Investments is to continue to provide businesses, whether it be my business or someone else's business, for the benefit of the community. I understand the traffic. I know it's always a problem. I remember when Highway 56 was a straight shot from Franklinton to Creedmoor. There was no stoplight. With growth comes a lot of needs. And I feel that those needs that we have that are there at Wilton will be answered with the community because they're going to need that. I remember when there wasn't a school at Wilton. And then now they've placed another one. It's inevitable. Growth is going to continue. Granville County, I've probably done most of my building in Granville County over the years that I've been blessed to be able to do this. And we do plan to continue, and I plan to continue not only just in Wilton area, but in Granville County itself. I'm more than willing to answer any questions. I think you'll see that what I've done in the past, I always try to do it in reasonable light, so it does help the community. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else wish to come forward this evening? I would declare this public hearing closed. Oh, let me back up. My bad. Does any of the board members have a question? I know Mr. Commissioner May.
Yes, I have a comment to make. While reviewing this matter last week, which included a review of laws pertaining to rezoning decisions, I identified a potential conflict of interest. The applicant, Mr. Hayes, was the builder of my home. I purchased my home prior to becoming a commissioner. He also currently has standing in our subdivision homeowner association. Based upon that, I've discussed this matter with the county attorney, and he concurred with me. I should recuse myself from this matter. It's not because of my home, but it's because of that relationship. And I will be recusing myself from this vote for that reason.
Mr. Attorney, do we need to have any formal indication that Mr. May's been given the ability to recuse himself from this vote?
I think it'd be good to note it in the minutes, and if the board wants to vote to accept the recusal, they can, but I do think that after reviewing the statute and his explanation of the associational relationship, it fits a statutory requirement for recusal.
Okay. Board, you've heard from Commissioner May. Is there a motion that we allow Commissioner May to recuse himself from the decision?
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion, Mr.
We've got
Chair.
a motion by Commissioner Wilford, seconded by Commissioner Cozart to allow Commissioner May to recuse himself from any decision on this rezoning matter. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Like sign. Okay, motion carries. So now I close the public hearing. I apologize for that. If I leaned over to the clerk and said if I would just read what was on the page, we'd be okay. So the board need any other clarification on this matter? Okay, seeing none.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question, but I don't know that it's anything we can do about it. But is there something we can do as far as getting DOT to do more? I know how hard it is to get DOT to do
Yes.
items, so.
There will be, and Barry can speak to this better, but Mr. Baker can speak to this better, but there'll be a comprehensive traffic impact analysis
Okay,
done
thank
on
you.
this.
That was a good question.
Thank you.
There are a number of things that can be looked at regarding traffic. If it is rezoned to commercial, each use would have to get a driveway permit to connect to the road. And so the DOT will take a look at that and can require improvements before they issue that driveway permit. As all you know, that we also Campo is going to be working in that area. That is a major intersection in the Campo area of Granville County. It is an opportunity. There is going to begin, the process will begin July 1. It'll take about 18 months. I would highly encourage everyone that lives, and especially in the NC 56, 96 area of Wilton, to be involved, and they can contact my office. I can keep them informed. Another item that I've thought of that I have not made any contact to the DOT, but the speed limit from Franklin County line to Brassville Church is 45 miles an hour, and then it becomes 55 as you go north. It may be something that we look at encouraging the NCDOT to lower the speed limit, at least through the schools.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I am recused from this, and this is a vote, but may I ask a question, County Attorney, about the traffic?
I think you can ask a
It's not
question about that.
It's not whether or not it should be zoned or not, it's just about the traffic.
I think that'd be fine.
Mr. Baker. So I guess what you're saying is that when they go build an additional road, it may trigger traffic impact analysis, and we would be encouraging a traffic impact analysis examination, correct?
We have a local traffic impact analysis. It's 800 daily trips per or 800 trips per day. This is approximately 12 acres on 4 lots. The land uses, even if they have 4 separate land uses, may not generate that. But the DOT has standards. The DOT can, as part of their analysis, when someone seeks a driveway permit, they can require improvements. As all you know, we don't know, this is a general use rezoning. I don't know. That's why all the table of uses and all the particular uses and the use definitions are in your packet, because you consider that when you consider rezoning. Not knowing exactly the timing and when those different lots may be built on, it may be something that occurs all at once or at different points in time. However, when someone wants a driveway connection permit, they have to go through the DOT, and the DOT will study the area that they would be connecting to, and they can require improvements in that process. But we did, as you know, it's all you know, we did put traffic impact analysis in our local ordinance that is a little bit stricter than what the DOT standards are. But when there's a new driveway connection to a state road, the DOT studies it and can require improvements before they issue that.
Mr. Baker, when you say improvements, would that be improvements such as turn lanes?
That's correct. It can be.
And that would be determined by DOT. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other clarification needed by the board? Okay. So the planning board recommended approval of the rezoning application by a 5-0 unanimous vote. If we vote to approve, the Board of Commissioners would need to adopt a plan consistency statement. What's the pleasure of the board? Oh, excuse me, I left out a word again, if I would just read.
As a public-
Plan consistency statement and reasonable statement needs to be included in the motion. Go ahead, Mr. Attorney.
I'm sorry, is the public hearing been closed?
Yes, I did that twice, out of order once, and second time for good.
I want to be clear that for the recused member not to participate in the debate once the question is called.
So we're waiting for a motion.
Off motion that we approve the rezoning along with the consistency. What is it? Consistency.
And reasonability, new word this year.
Reasonability.
Yep.
And I'll second that.
We had a motion by Commissioner Zlotis J, seconded by Commissioner Sue Hinman, that we approve the rezoning based on the recommendation of our planning board, and that we adopt a consistency statement and reasonability statement to include in that motion. Questions? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? And it be noted for the record that Commissioner May did not vote, as he was recused. All right, so the board has approved the motion to approve the rezoning. Next, we have an item to consider a grant, and Mr. Brummett, if you'll come forward to the podium, our Director of Communications at the 911 Center, to consider a grant from the 911 board to purchase 5 new portable radios to use as backup in case of on-site radio failure at our 911 center.
Yes,
Floor is yours.
good evening. Just a little background, as you said, it's a grant to purchase 1 portable radio per each telecommunicator authorized position, and this would allow us to purchase 5 of those, and we will be reimbursed the entire amount, and these would serve as a backup to what we already have, so just an added level of redundancy. These a little bit different than what we have now. If we had to evacuate our main center, we could use these en route in our vehicles to make sure we don't miss responders, or at least let them know that, hey, we're moving from one area to the other. So I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody has any.
Does the board have any questions? We've got a recommendation from our Emergency Communication Director, Trent Brummett, who recommends the approval of a purchase of 5 portable radios from Motorola Communications America in the amount of $41,654.45 from funding that will be reimbursed from the 911 board grant funds. And the Emergency Communication Director further recommends that the Board of Commissioners authorize the county manager to execute the contract once finalized by the county attorney.
And I would like to add that he has reviewed this already, County Attorney Rand.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve it as recommended.
And I'll second that.
We got a motion by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Williford to accept the recommendation and approve as recommended. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Next, we have a sheriff matter to come before us this evening, and we have an adjustment to the part-time courthouse security classification and pay rates.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to come speak to you. I come to the sheriff's place. Unfortunately, he's had a death in the family, and he was unable to attend.
Remind me your name again.
My name is Chief Deputy Kevin Buster.
That's what I had. Okay, great. Thank you.
This is a simple adjustment to meet the needs and the future needs of the courthouse. It's to change the rate to $22 per hour.
Board, you've had the background information and you see the recommendation from our sheriff. Are there any questions on the?
I just have one comment, Mr. Chair, if I can. I shouldn't say that, just one, because it always means 2 or 3, so I guess I'll just have a comment. Chief Deputy, are we going to be ensured that these positions will be filled with deputies, not detention officers, but folks that are certified deputies that are ready to go?
Yes, they have to be BLET certified and meet all state requirements.
And we're not going to fill them with anyone that's not been through the system and ready to go?
No, sir. They have to be
At that rate.
at that point a BLET certified officer.
That was my only question. Thank you, County Manager. Thank you.
Commissioner May, could you speak up a little louder? Are you speaking to your mic? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, what I was making sure of is that, and he answered affirmatively. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. That I wanted to make sure that whoever filled those positions was a certified law enforcement officer, BLET certified, and that we weren't filling in with anyone other than someone that is fully capable, both physically and through their training to take on that task at that rate. In other words, I would not want to see that rate go to a detention officer or go to someone else that doesn't meet the full qualifications of a certified deputy. And he answered affirmatively.
Are there any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I think if you'll indulge me just for a second, I think now might be a decent time just for the public's edification that part of the reason for this is that the Granville County Courthouse will be a part of the the fourth wave of courthouses in the state of North Carolina to transition to what's called the e-courts system. In all of the counties that have made this transition thus far, there have been, especially at the beginning, significant backups, longer lines coming out of the courthouse. And just as the whole court system gets used to this fully online system, it's caused a lot of backups and some additional frustration for people trying to use the courthouse. And that has caused us to review our security measures at the courthouse. And this is part of our preparation so that the county has more and more able-bodied sort of staff at the courthouse just to help with crowd control and security throughout the courthouse.
Will this extend outside as well as inside? You just mentioned long lines, which is outside. Will that?
I'm not aware that the staff often go outside, but they do go outside occasionally if need be.
Okay.
Yes, and we have added additional job requirements in this position. If there is a need to make arrests for any type of behavior, serve warrants, things of that nature, so the whole courthouse will be covered.
So these, I believe the position is specialized court officer, have full arrest authority.
Yes, and that's one of the requirements, that they do understand that when they take this position, it's just not a person sitting inside the courthouse.
Correct.
They will have full arrest powers, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And this seems to be a transition type thing where you're going away from the bailiffs as they retire.
No, as County Manager Cummings said, this is an anticipated need that as the courthouse and the procedures change, we will still have bailiffs, but we also need an officer, a more active, proactive law enforcement officer who can do things such as arrest, gather evidence, and things of that nature.
Yeah. I was just going by in the material here, it says, as current courthouse bailiffs retire, the new classification and pay rate will be utilized in recruitment of skilled and trained law enforcement personnel to fill the vacant bailiff positions. So it sounded to me like you were transitioning out the old bailiffs as they retired with this new position.
I don't think that's, if that was in there, it was maybe a misstep. We will still have actual bailiffs whose sole duty is to be inside the courtroom for the security of the courtroom. This is an enhancement position that will do additional duties alongside a bailiff.
Okay, so I'm either misinterpreting this or it's written wrong.
I would say we probably made a mistake on that.
Okay, thank you.
My understanding is that the way it's written up is correct, but we'll double check that and get some clarity out to everybody. But I think that the bailiff function will still be performed, obviously, in the courthouse, would also be being performed by more qualified individuals. Well, I'll make sure that that's correct, and we'll get clarity out to commissioners tomorrow.
When does e-court starts?
It's at the very end of April is when our rollout starts.
Okay. Any other questions? You've heard the recommendation of our sheriff representative, and our county administration recommends approval for the new specialized court officer classification and part-time pay rate of $22 an hour effective immediately.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the recommendation from the Sheriff's Office and County Administration.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Cozart, seconded by Commissioner Williford.
I just got one thing,
Discussion
Chairman,
on
may I?
motion? Yes.
Just so when we're approving, approve it on the base, I would recommend approve it on the basis of the county manager's interpretation is accurately reflected in what the proposal was written, so there's no conflict. If there's a conflict, then we haven't approved something that we're not in agreement with down the road, and we have to come back and correct it. Does that make sense, County Manager?
Sure.
So, yeah, I think the motion that Commissioner Cozart, and it was seconded, was that it was a new specialized court officer classification. And I think we'll work out the semantic on that as part of that.
Okay.
That's okay with everybody. Okay, thank you for that clarification. Any other questions on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to the motion, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please send our regards to the sheriff for the loss of his loved one.
Oh, thank you.
Right, and the next item, we're going to be polling the request for surplus weapons. We've got some additional background information that we need to look at. So our next item is going to be the project management section, and we are going to Mr. Scott Phillips, and we're going to be talking about the request to consider awarding a unit price construction service contract needed for asphalt walking trail repairs within the parcel 1 area of the Granville Athletic Park.
Thank you, Chairman and Granville County Commissioners. As stated, this was a request to consider a unit price construction service contract needed for some asphalt walking trail repairs. There we go. That's the wrong one. Here we go. The trails we're talking about were actually in Phase 1 of the Granville County Athletic Park, which was built some 22 years ago. Amazing. Time flies, doesn't it? The asphalt trails within Phase 1 of the park need substantial repairs. Over the past 10 years, we have undertaken work to minimize the trip hazards due to pavement separation. However, root undergrowth is a continual issue, and reconstruction of the most severely damaged sections of the trail is needed. We retain Withers and Ravenel, an engineering firm with extensive experience in similar work, to evaluate the conditions and formulate methods of repair, as well as mitigating future root damage to the best possible extent. Their evaluations and subsequent bid proposal documents found the following needs. What was classified in the base bid need was an area to focus around the soccer fields. 3 areas were determined in need of substantial repairs and root remediation. Work consists of removing the existing asphalt, replacing it with 6 inches of asphalt, along with root remediation trenching on both sides of the trail. Alternate number 1 basically focused on the trail around the southeast ball field loop. The 2 areas were determined in need of substantial repairs and root remediation, as noted in the base bid description above. And alternate 2 was this area focused on the trail around the southeast ball field again. 2 areas were determined needing minor repairs, which consist of a 3-inch asphalt overlay to the existing trail surface. Unit prices were received in accordance with the above categories on February 22nd. You have the bid results attached to your agenda item. This is a capital, this project was funded in 23-24 fiscal year capital funding for the park, and the work can accommodate, and it can accommodate this request. Our recommendation is the Granville County Development Services, in conjunction with Withers and Ravenel, recommends awarding the unit price construction service contract to Black Sail Construction LLC for the base amount, or $91,091, alternate 1 for $22,000, and alternate 2 for $14,644, with a total estimated amount of $127,734, and authorizes the county manager to execute the contract. We also request authorization of a contingency fund for the unit price changes not to exceed $10,000. I'll answer any questions if you have any.
The board have any questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
That is in the, I'm sorry, that is in the budget, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, I just want to make sure. Then I will make that motion.
We got a motion by Commissioner Hinman and a second by Commissioner Gooch to approve the recommendation brought forward by our County Development Services Director. Any other further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Next, we've got appointments. First, we've got the Agricultural Advisory Board, which is Small Farms Week coming up. So the purpose of this is to make appointments and reappointments to the Agricultural Advisory Board. We've got the term of Jimmy Cruz, District 2, and Steve Hicks, District 4, expire in February. Mr. Cruz is eligible for reappointment, and Mr. Hicks does not want to be reappointed. So we'll take District 2.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Jimmy Cruz for reappointment to the Agricultural Advisory Board for another term, please.
Second.
We got a motion by Commissioner Williford and seconded by Commissioner Jay to reappoint Jimmy Cruz to the Agriculture Advisory Board. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. Motion carries. All right, District 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have communication of the Ag Advisory Board is recommending Harold Overby on Thomas Snead Road, so I recommend him for appointment.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Commissioner Cozart and seconded by Commissioner Hinman to appoint Harold Overby for District 4 seat on the Agricultural Advisory Board. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next, we've got the county manager report. Mr. Manager.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair. Two quick things, one of which I appreciated Commissioner Hinman bringing up and offering thanks to our tax office staff. As soon as those values went out, between walk-ins and telephone calls they were dealing with, often many days over 100 people who needed clarification, explanation, maybe working their way towards an informal appeal or providing additional information to the tax office. They've really been working really hard to make sure that people get the answers they need. And so although they've gone home, and I understand that they did have, there's Jenny peeking in the door. Jenny, I'm publicly offering thanks to your staff, who I know have been working overtime and kind of literally and figuratively, and just working really hard to make sure that all the citizens who have questions about their tax bills get those questions answered. And I know that the commissioners appreciate that, and I appreciate that too.
Thank you.
Second note, since CEO of the Granville Health System, Mr. McConnell, is out there in the audience, I want to just give them a quick plug for the great race that they organized over the weekend, which I understand the ambulance chase 5K and 10K hadn't happened since right at the beginning of COVID, basically before COVID. It was the first race that I've done in Granville County. Had a great time, grabbed lunch at a food truck afterwards. Weather was great. It was a really well-organized event. So appreciate you all doing that, and I think it was good for Oxford, good for Granville County too.
All right, that was an easy report. Mr. Attorney?
Nothing for open session. I have one matter for attorney-client privilege.
Okay. Brings us to presentation by board members. And let me get to where we're going in order here. It is Mr. Gooch first.
Okay, thank you. I had the pleasure of attending a forum put on by Representative Frank Sossman right here at the Expo Center. It was two parts. The first part was law enforcement and human trafficking, and that was very interesting, very informative session, and it raises your awareness. I was also able to stay for most of the public presentation, and the public presentation was totally different. It was geared more towards individuals and raising individual awareness. And if you haven't attended any of these forums, I highly recommend you do. He's put on several about mental health. There will actually be another human trafficking forum later this month that will be advertised. And aside from that, I attended the Butner Budget Retreat. I also attended the Creemore Budget Retreat earlier in the year. So I felt it only fair to attend the Butner one, and was very, not surprised, but they confirmed a lot of things that they're doing, that they're planning for the future. And their financial position is very strong. I'm very happy that I live in Butner and that they're doing so well. And that's all I had to report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gooch. Next, we have Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also attended that human traffic day. I wasn't aware that you hear it on the news and stuff how it far away, but ran in your back door. I couldn't believe that is just this was happening around. That's right around in home, and it's real good. If anyone can, please go to the next section of it. Also, I got a call last Wednesday evening that I need to be in Raleigh. Our district director, our health department director, was awarded Director of the Year for the state of North Carolina, Miss Lisa Harrison. So if you see Miss Lisa Harrison, give her thanks. And she really does all over the state. She's well spoken about how good a job that Lisa's doing. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Williford?
We enjoyed the plant science building tour that several of the commissioners, I had the pleasure of riding with Commissioner Hinman and Commissioner Jay, and very informative. The chairman was there and Commissioner May, and it was just a great, really just a wonderful. They gave us a great tour, sat us down. It was just a wonderful building, the newest building on State's campus. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I would also like to shout out again to Jenny Short and the whole staff at the tax department. I've had a tremendous amount of phone calls from citizens. Most of them just want to know what the process is and how to navigate through it, and they have done a wonderful job of helping, especially with a lot of the elderly. And also kudos to Lisa Harrison for the State Health Director of the Year. That's all for me, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Williford. Commissioner Hinman?
Yes, thank you. I didn't get to go to Commissioner or Chair, Mr. Sossman's I can't even talk tonight because I was at a dangerous dog hearing. Luckily, it was not declared a dangerous dog. Yay! Those always make me so sad to go to those because, they're always somebody's pet. And to have to, and they just did something stupid, just like our children do. And if you could smack them around, you would, but they wouldn't understand. But anyway, so this dog was not considered a dangerous dog at this point. I was also very excited to be able to go Saturday, March 9th to the Veterans Appreciation Event. I was able to give away 2 quilts that I had made to the oldest male veteran and the oldest female, and I happened to know both of them. It was a total surprise, but it made me feel good to, especially George Summers. I mean, I've known George since I got to the county, and it just was so awesome to be able to give him a quilt that I had made. On March 11th, we went to the Chamber membership banquet, and to get to speak to all these people that are part of the members of the Chamber, it's nice to get to talk to these businesses. And then on the 14th, we were able to go to the tour of the NC State Plant Sciences new building. Let me tell you, as a master gardener, they had to drag me out of that building. I wanted to stay in the greenhouses. I wanted to stay up there with the education, and I had a blast there. So I'm still want to be there. But anyway, thank you, sir. That's all I've got for tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Hinman. Commissioner Cozart?
Mr. Chairman, it's been a real busy time, but a real good time. And as I look out in the audience tonight, I just want to say to Mr. Larry Eaton, it's good to see you. I miss seeing you in our meetings. God bless you. I have thoroughly enjoyed several of the sessions that we've had for the community, and I just want the board to know I'll be sending out something. We will have a couple that will be focusing on the challenges of early childhood, so I'll make sure that we get those out timely. I do want to wish all the best for our former Webb principal, Dr. Fuqua. Just pray all is well with him and his family. Enjoyed the Butler Planning and Finance, gave me a good insight on some of the challenges they have there, and was able to go to Creekmore as well. But I wanted to say, the event that we had on trafficking, one of my takeaways, the highway patrolman who spoke said that when they make a stop now, they are more observant about what's going on in that car. If there are kids in there, to see if they're acting normal, to see if there is possibility that maybe they have been taken or something. And I was really appreciative of that comment, that they're looking more than just at whatever traffic issue had occurred, but they're trying to make some judgment on if the children in that vehicle are okay. And the veterans event, several times I had tears in my eyes, and to see the former instructor at Webb, the appreciation those students show for him. Commissioner May, just awesome job. Please let everybody who had anything to do with that know it was a special, special time. And the folding of the flag, I had forgotten, I had heard that some time ago, how each fold means something. I'm not a veteran, but I do appreciate those who serve. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate it. Commissioner May?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I did enjoy all the number of meetings we've gone to, and a lot to learn. One particular that I went to was a school operations meeting, and when we talked about school efficiency, and relocation of Groundwell Academy, maybe I offered Mr. J that maybe they would consult. They want to run some shuttles back and forth, and I thought offered that maybe they would consult with carts. Maybe that would be an opportunity to enhance carts and also help them with bus drivers and things of that nature. And so I hope that they'll reach out. And if you'd pass that on so that they, I don't think anything forbids that as long as the driver is squared away and everything's good there. So I did offer them to look into it. Didn't offer them any services, just so you know. Did enjoy the Veterans Appreciation. Back to the schools. With this board, we set aside funding for both an athletic project at both Oxford Webb and at South Carolina High School. And I know they're working on it, but I did send out a nudge to the superintendent today and just say, we need progress and we need to get going. That school needs that weight room facility fixed, the concession stand needs to be fixed, and the electrical issue needs to be fixed. And so I felt assured based on response that we'll be getting a response, but I really want us to track that county manager because we've invested in something jointly, and I think it only proves how we can work together. Veterans Appreciation was awesome. NC State was incredible. And then today, me and Mr. J attended a meeting with Cooperative Extension Well on our farms and farm protection and VAD, and actually met Mr. Brian Curran there today, which was good to see him, good to meet him and talk with him. And so the right folks, the right time, the right investment is going on, and I know that our county is moving in the right directions when it comes to those matters. I think I read something recently with this county produces about $23 million in agriculture per year. So, but we're also learning that organic tobacco is falling to the wayside and tobacco is struggling significantly. And so we're going to have to find ways to further support our farming community, and hopefully we can do that. And again, that may require working with Mr. Sossman because many of the things that are being done. And finally, one of my biggest takeaways from that is a farmer's land is within his or her destiny today, tomorrow, and forever. And so they are really the deciding factor on what is the destiny of that land. So that's a key piece. We can help with some things, but we're limited. It really is the decision makers on that behalf. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Well, it's exciting that as a rural county, we're spending, I think, to a person, every one of us spoke about the rural character and our farmers here. I know that the plant sciences building down in NC State was a pretty neat tour, but I want to bear in mind that Michaela Berryhill, one of our field crops agents here in Granville County, is one of only 10 agents in the state, over 100 cooperative extension locations within the state of North Carolina, one of 10 that are the public interface between the mission of NC State to bring the knowledge and the research of the state university to the farmers who actually implement that in the field, and getting the feedback from the farmers back to the NC State University is paramount in the mission of the university to educate the farmers. In the United States since 1981, with narrowing agricultural profits, drove 437,000 small farms out of business, losing 141 million acres of farmable land in the United States of America. So I'm glad that here in Granville County, as a rural county, that we're on the forefront with our cooperative extension. And those farmers have resources through organizations like the Voluntary Agricultural District, the Cattlemen's Association, other outfield crop agencies, and that. And we do have a strong agricultural advisory board here. So I appreciate the work of our extension folks as well as this board to make sure that the rural character of our county remains.
With you saying that, I just remembered, one of the things they told us about was that professor that was working on making fertilizer out of water.
Yes, the naturally occurring nitrogen. NC State, one of the initiatives of the plant science, and I don't want to belabor the meeting too long, but the initiatives of the plant sciences initiative is to bring interdisciplinary teams together. They've got a nuclear physicist who teamed up with plant sciences folks, and that they are looking at the molecular ability of water to use as fertilizer, cutting the cost of delivering nitrogen and those type of things and phosphates to the farm, and just using innovation of fission and those kind of things. But all the sciences at NC State, and we're blessed to be here in the Research Triangle and have those things available, and to have one of only 4 agricultural research facilities in the state of North Carolina, actually here in Oxford, and 2 if you count the Bio Center in Butner, 2 out of 6 in the state. So very rich history here. So with that,
Mr. Chair, I want to add something. I want to thank Mr. Wren for his work on the Upper Neuse River Basin Association. He is very vigilant in that behalf, and I actually did a tour this Saturday of a creek, Martin Creek and Lick Creek. They're actually in Durham, but they're tributaries. Martin feeds into Lick Creek, and it's a tributary that fills into the falls. And we were looking at the turbidity of the water, the murkiness of the water, and stream bank erosion. And I know that we set some consensus principles because as you walk down the creek, you can see the degree of sediment that is settling that is not actually sediment that you want in the bottom of your creek. And eventually it makes its way to the falls. And so it's very important our board continue to work, Mr. Wren, with his guidance, the county manager, to work to ensure that we continue to protect what goes on. We watch what's going on other counties and observe other partners to ensure that what ends up happening in the Falls Lake does not impact our taxpayers. And so we continue to do that. And again, I thank you both for your diligence in that regard. Thank you. Sorry about that.
You're good. It's lots of conversation cues, things that they're tumbling around in our brains. So any other matters before the board? We do have a need for a closed session under General Statute 143-318.11A3 for an attorney-client matter. We also have a closed session as allowed by General Statute 143-1811A6 for personnel matters. So we'll be using both of those executive sessions. And we do not anticipate connecting any business when we come back out. Is that correct? Do not anticipate. So you all travel safely. You're welcome to stay here till we're done, but we don't anticipate conducting any business.
I'll make that motion if we can have a 5-minute bio break.
We'll take a 5-minute recess before going into our closed session. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, like sign? We stand at recess until we go into our closed session. Back in open session. Other business come before this board?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner
Aye.
At least from my advantage point of view, it was safe.